Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today is a day for sure. Chapter 5, as we know, is coming to an end. So it's the video we've all been waiting for, where I'm going to rank all of the Chapter 5 seasons. Now, just a forewarning before we get into this video, it is going to be extremely opinionated. Obviously this is just based on my experience with all of the seasons this chapter, but I was originally going to do it where I just kind of talk about each season and why I liked it and why it's in the position it is, but then I found a better idea to kind of make it better for anyone out there who wants to argue a little bit. So I've broken it into 5 categories, and the 5 categories are Battle Pass, which is basically, are the Battle Pass skins good? Do I still use them, or did they leave an impact on me? The loot pool, was the loot pool good? Was it balanced? Were weapons that I liked in it? Stuff like that. The map, how good was it? Was there notable POIs? Was it fun to play on? Stuff like that. Medallions, again, how good were the medallions? Did they have unique features? And then finally is gameplay enjoyment. So just how much I enjoyed playing that season specifically. All of these are scored out of 5 for a total of 25 points at the end, and each season is basically ranked like that. So there were a couple seasons that I thought would be in one place that ended up being in another place after I ranked them this way. So it kind of helped me as well see what seasons I actually liked and what seasons I didn't like. So we're going to hop right into it with the number 4 spot. Alright, so I already know that I'm going to get flamed right off the bat. So for all of you who are only watching this opinion and then leave the video, please be nice to me in the comments. I know, again, it's just my opinion, so don't get too mad at me. Coming in at the number 4 spot is Chapter 5, Season 4, Absolute Doom. That's correct. The season we are currently in, the Marvel season, is my least favorite, and we're going to get into scores and everything. So we'll start with the Battle Pass. Of the Battle Pass skins, there are only 2 notable ones that I actually really like, and that is Emma Frost and Gwenpool. The rest of the pass for me is pretty underwhelming, and they're all skins I'm not really going to use at all. I know certain people might like them, and that's cool, but for me, Emma Frost and Gwenpool are the only 2 skins that I think are really worth it for the Battle Pass. Next is the loot pool. They did bring back the Striker AR, which is awesome. I love the Striker AR. They also brought the Striker Burst, which is really cool. Battle Pass was 2 out of 5, by the way. You'll see it on screen. But yeah, Striker AR, Striker Burst Rifle. But they took away all snipers, and they took away my favorite gun of the chapter, which is the Thunderburst SMG. So, and then for all the Marvel items, I didn't really include them because I don't really care for them that much. I will say that the Halloween stuff is cool, but with that being said, the loot pool for me is still a 2 out of 5 on this season. It's not very great. The guns don't feel very fun to play with. Even the chainsaw and stuff, it's cool, but it's almost too overpowered still, even though I think they've nerfed it, and it just doesn't bring a fun gameplay experience for me personally. Moving on to the map. We did get some cool new places. We got Castle Doom, and because of Fort Nightmares, I bumped it up. It probably would have been a 2 out of 5 if not for Fort Nightmares, but since we got Freaky Fields and also the Brawlers remix, which I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but since we got those 2 places, it bumped it up a point for me. But they did take away Lavish Lair, and Lavish Lair was my favorite drop spot of the season as well, or of the chapter as well. So for me, the map is a 3 out of 5 on that front. Medallions, we really only got 2 good ones. The reveal medallion's pretty cool, although it's not that useful. It is cool to see your enemies, but it would be cooler if they were shown more often. I feel like you get to see them once every 5 minutes, so I don't think it's that useful. And again, that might just be me, over dramatizing it, but I feel like it's just not that great. And then we got Siphon. Siphon's always fun to play with. Keeps you alive when you need health and stuff like that. So that one's a good medallion. But then we got the Stealth Medallion, and we all know the Stealth Medallion is not a good medallion. It's pretty doo-doo. So for medallions, I'm also going to have to give this season a 2 out of 5. And then for gameplay enjoyment, I'm gonna be honest, guys, this season I've barely played the game. I barely was able to get to level 200, which I've been able to do so easily all of the seasons this chapter. It's just not been interesting for me. I don't want to shoot people while they're jetpacking around out of reach and the render distance is lagging out, and there's a clip of Ninja talking about it too, and I completely agree with him on everything he says. This season is just so hard to play sometimes because it's just so frustrating. But because of Fortnitemares, again, I gave it an extra point. So it was going to be 1 out of 5. But because of Fortnitemares, came in a little clutch. It's the best Fortnitemares we've had in the last 2 years. So gameplay enjoyment has gone up to 2 out of 5. Bringing Absolute Doom to a total of 11 out of 25. So unfortunately, it did come in last. I didn't think it would. I thought the next season on this list would come in last. But we will get to that. Alright, coming in at number 3 on the list is Chapter 5, Season 3, Wrecked. Now, this is probably what most people would have assumed my least favorite season of the chapter was, which is a fair assumption. I also thought it was going to be my least favorite season of the chapter, but it actually ended up not being points-wise, so let's break that down. So, first of all, Battle Pass. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Power Armor was super cool to see, the Fallout collab. The Machinist is a skin that I really like, and Bright Raider as well is a skin that I use a lot. So those two skins alone, Machinist and Bright Raider, kind of carry the pass for me. Again, the rest of it wasn't very good, and I know a lot of people like Megalodon. I'm not a fan, but those two skins for me kind of carry the battle pass in that sense. For the loot pool for this season, I gave it a 4 out of 5. We had some pretty good weapons, right? We had the combat shotgun, combat assault rifle was really good. We had the nitro fists, which were pretty awesome for mobility. I feel like they were a really cool mobility item. We had the Nuka-Cola, we had the nitro splash, we had the boom bolt, which wasn't the best weapon, but it was really good at taking down cars, which was the biggest problem in this season. And we also had Oscar's Frenzy Auto shotgun come back, and the Frenzy Auto is just a beast, and the fact that it's a mythic again, and you could get it at Classy Quartz, was awesome. So the loot pool this season is honestly one of the reasons I kept coming back and playing, was just because, like, even though I was playing a season I didn't really like, I really liked the guns that were in the season. So yeah, I did like the loot pool for this season. That's why I gave it a 4 out of 5, obviously. But for the map, I gave a 2 out of 5. I didn't like any of the new POIs. In my opinion, they all sucked. And Fencing Fields got taken out of the game. I thought Fencing Fields was a really good POI. It was always pretty sweaty, but it was just a fun place to drop if you wanted that, like, little challenge. But I was sad to see Fencing Fields go, and it wasn't really replaced with anything either. Like, I know they need to make map changes for the map to progress throughout the chapter. That's the whole point, obviously. But these changes just weren't it for me. For medallions, I gave them a 3.5 out of 5. These medallions were pretty good. They weren't the best, as we'll see, but they were pretty good. We had unlimited nitro, which was awesome. Infinite ammo and range damage increase, which was just a beast. I didn't even know it did increase range damage until I researched it again, but apparently it did. And then regen shield up to 75 is kind of where it gets, you know, like, that one's whatever. But for gameplay enjoyment, I also gave it a 2.5 out of 5, just because I could actually play this season. Like, I could get on and play a couple games, whereas Absolute Doom, I felt like it was just a chore to get on and play. So Wrecked, even though it had a lot of problems with vehicles and stuff, I think it was still better. So that brings Wrecked to a total of 15 out of 25. Have you ever thought, man, I wish I could support a small creator early on in their career? Well, now you can, and if you want to, you can enter code OmegaEthan in the Fortnite item shop. It really helps and I really appreciate it. Or now you can also go to ko-fi.com/OmegaEthan. The link will be on the screen. And we have a couple different goals on there right now. We're working towards getting a capture card for the channel. So if you want to donate to that, feel free. Any amount helps, but only do so if you can afford to. Don't be going into debt to donate to me. But every donation I really appreciate, and it helps me get new stuff for the channel and make better videos for you guys. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you, and let's get back to the video. Okay, coming in at the number 2 spot, honestly, kind of a surprise for me, and by kind of I mean really a surprise for me. I did not expect this to be number 2, but it is Chapter 5, Season 2, Myths and Mortals. I thought I hated this season, but clearly going back to look at it, I don't know if it's nostalgia or whatever, but it actually stayed in my brain in a better image than the rest of them. So start with the Battle Pass again. I gave the Battle Pass a 2.5 out of 5. Notable skins were Aphrodite, Korra, and Artemis. Again, these skins have a lower rating, or this Battle Pass has a lower rating than the last one, than Rex Battle Pass, just because the skins were good, but they weren't like that memorable. But it was still a solid Battle Pass. You know, it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best. It's literally right in the middle for me. So that's why I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. For the loot pool, I gave it a 3 out of 5. We had some pretty cool items here. Chains of Hades were really fun to use. Gatekeeper shotgun was a really powerful shotgun to be added to the game. The Wings of Icarus were a really cool movement item. The Frenzy Auto was in this season. We love the Frenzy Auto. Thunder Burst was in this season. We love the Thunder Burst. And they still had the Reaper Sniper Rifle, but they took away the Striker AR. So that's why it has a little less points. You don't take my AR from me. I don't feel good about that. But I think because of that, that's what made the Thunderburst my favorite, is because I didn't have the AR anymore, so I had to use the Thunderburst, and I just fell in love with it. So loot pool for me in this season was 3 out of 5. The map was also 3 out of 5. I think the addition of Mount Olympus, Grimgate, the Underworld, that was all really cool. However, they did take another thing from me that I loved that did not get enough time in the game, and that was Hazy Hillside. Hazy Hillside reminded me like pretty much exactly of Misty Meadows, and then they just ripped it away from me. I got one season with it, and then it was gone. And I think that's why I'm so bitter about this season, was because I feel like I didn't get enough time in that POI before it got removed. Ritzy Riviera also got removed, but I didn't really care about that one. I only really cared about Hazy Hillside and Lavish Lair, and then they took away Hazy Hillside, so that was kind of not cool of them. But 3 out of 5 for the map. It was still a good map. Medallions, these are the best medallions we ever got in Chapter 5, and you can fight me. Siphon was awesome. Speed and Jump was awesome, the Zeus medallion, when it worked. Sometimes it didn't work, but when it worked, it was awesome. Extra dashes was super cool. It gave you a little bit of a one-up in the fight with people. And then ranged weapon damage, obviously, is very good as well. Even though we ended up seeing that in Wrecked as well, it was still nice that it was introduced here. So the medallions all around, I think they were 4 out of 5. They were really good this season, the best in Chapter 5 in my opinion. But yeah, gameplay enjoyment was a 3 out of 5 for me. It was okay. It genuinely, like, it was a little bit better than just okay. I think there's fun stuff. I didn't mention like the lightning bolts or anything because I didn't really care for it. Collabs I'm not really factoring in either, like the season passes, even though I probably should be because they were a part of the season. But in my opinion, like, yeah, the Avatar Pass was really cool, but it just didn't make that much of a difference for me in enjoyment. So gameplay enjoyment is a 3 out of 5 for me, and the total for Chapter 5 Season 2 Myths and Mortals was 15.5 out of 25. So really not that much better than Wrecked, but just barely scraped by as the better season. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for. I mean, we already kind of knew this, I think, coming into this video. I think this is the popular opinion, either this season or Season 4, which I completely disagree with, but this season, Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground takes my number 1 spot so easily. Like, it was just, it's such a good season, but we'll get into it. So for the Battle Pass, I gave it a 4 out of 5. We got Hope, we got Valyria. Even with those 2 skins, it would have been banger. Like, those 2 skins make the Battle Pass, even if there weren't other good skins. But there was also Peter Griffin, which we never thought was going to happen. Even though I'm not a huge Family Guy fan, I can still appreciate that was an awesome collab. Montague was also a skin that I really like. He doesn't get enough love, but I really liked him. Solid Snake was awesome. And then finally Nisha. Nisha was an awesome skin as well. So the Battle Pass for the season was an absolute banger. You can argue with me if you want, but I think it was just one of the best battle passes. Well, it was the best battle pass, in my opinion, of Chapter 5. The loot pool, 3.5 out of 5. We got some awesome weapons, the Reaper Sniper Rifle, obviously, Auto Shotgun, Thunder Burst, Striker AR, but we also had the Grapple Blade, which I didn't really like at first, but then as the season went on, I learned how to love it, and now that it's gone, I miss it very dearly. The Grapple Blade was an awesome addition, and I don't know why they never brought it back. They went straight to wings and fists and stuff, which is fine, but the Grapple Blade, I think, is the best movement mobility item we got in Chapter 5. Again, you can argue with me on that if you want, but that is my opinion. The map was a 3.5 out of 5 in my opinion. I'm saying in my opinion so much, I'll try to stop. We had Hazy Hillside, Lavish Lair, Grand Glacier, Classy Courts, Reckless Railways, Fencing Fields, like so many good memorable POIs that were just absolute bangers. So I almost said it. So yeah, I would say this map is a 3.5 out of 5. It had some absolute banger POIs. It was super fun to play on. And yeah, medallions are 2.5 out of 5. They're obviously not the best. They were our first introduction to medallions, so there wasn't much they could do about it, but all they did was regen shield up to 100 if you were carrying all 5, and then I think it was like 50 if you had 1, 60 if you had 2, so on and so forth. Before the nerf, if you had 1, I believe it would just put you to 100. That was better, but obviously it needed to be fixed. And then gameplay enjoyment for me this season was a 5 out of 5. I got to like level 360 or something. I played this season every day when I got off work. Like, I was so excited to come home and just grind this season. And I had such a blast. And obviously, like, there's other things to it, right? Is like I was playing with people that I don't play with as much anymore, and having good times and all that. But like, the gameplay was awesome, and the new mechanics, the train, everything like that was such a cool addition to the game. The only thing I didn't like was riot shields, but I learned to get over it and learn to work with them. But Chapter 5 Season 1 was an insane start to the chapter. It was really, really good, and for that reason, it gets an 18.5 out of 25. And that means Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground was my favorite overall Chapter 5 season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of my list, and let me know your lists in the comments below as well. I would love to see kind of your ranking of this chapter. It's been a good one, honestly. I don't think there were any really bad moments other than this season. Please don't hate me for that. But with that being said, I cannot wait to see you guys in Fortnite OG Chapter 2, or Remix, whatever they're calling it. That is the next video I will probably make, which will be next week. But thank you for sticking along. The journey throughout Chapter 5 for me is super sentimental because I started my channel and we've come a long way. We already have like 411 subscribers, which is crazy, but I appreciate all of you very, very much. And with that said, if you are new and you like the videos, subscribe. We do tons of videos like this. Like the video, comment your favorite seasons in order from this chapter, and yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.